Hello, my name is Erica Thiel, and today's training is going to talk about reporting in 4-H Online, and specifically talking about group enrollments. The objectives of this training are to go over the reporting and to discuss 4-H Online and how that information reported into 4-H Online impacts ES 237, to provide you with some tools for reporting, as well as give you an overview and to demonstrate how to do the reporting in 4-H Online. And last but not least, general 4-H Online support. Who is out there to support you and to answer your questions? You will hear me say this a few times during the course of this training, but for best results in 4-H Online, please use Firefox or Google Chrome browsers. I have a short quiz to get started with. Please answer the following questions. Do you deliver educational programming to youth in Idaho? Do you know where to report your contact numbers? And do you know what 4-H Online is? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, that's great. I would hope that everybody is doing educational outreach and programming to the youth in our state. It is important that we are capturing and reporting our information, but it's really important that we're reporting those numbers to not only CAL's plan, but to 4-H Online as well. So when we talk about reporting, the data that is entered into CAL's plan unfortunately does not transfer, correlate, or even get sent to USDA and NIFA. And that means we have to report to both places. The information that is reported into 4-H Online is reported to USDA NIFA directly from 4-H Online, and it has a significant impact as far as the 4-H program being able to demonstrate our impact, that we are making contacts, and that does impact the funding that our program receives. So how do we do it? I will demonstrate here where you can find your tools and actually how to enter in your group enrollment in 4-H Online, but we have created a packet that includes a document, a sign-in sheet for your program participants. It also captures your adult and youth volunteer information and comes complete with a sign-in sheet. And it is located at the web.cals.uidaho Staff Help Sheets website. The recording of this training will be posted there as well. Please note that over the course of this year, between now and October 1, we will probably be migrating that website to a site core page, and once that information has been moved over, I will update that training, or you will receive an update on where this is all housed at. But for now, it will be on the WordPress site. All right, I'm going to do a quick change here of what we're sharing. Okay, so here's the Staff Help Sheets page. If you have questions, or if you have faculty and staff that have questions about 4-H Online, this web page is loaded with help sheets, webinars, recorded trainings. But if you scroll down, you will see a section on reporting. If you have questions about the USDA ES 230 definitions, grade and race, group enrollment FAQs, and what to report and how to report, this is where you should, if you have questions, this is where you can get it, or you can contact myself and be happy to answer those questions. But this is the group enrollment and sign-in packet. This link is the Word version. This link is your PDF version. But if you click on this, it'll do a pop-up, and it will open up the document. Hopefully you all can see this, but it's got a box where you can mark off, have you reported to 4-H Online, have you reported to CAL's plan. It captures all of the information that you're going to be asked in 4-H Online, which I'll demonstrate and show you here in a second. But it's going to ask your program information, 4-H year. The system in 4-H Online defaults to this year, but it's good to make an indicator on that. One thing that is important for programs that are delivered in the fall, our new 4-H year starts October 1. So the 4-H year where we're at right now is 2015-2016. October 1, we will be rolling over to the 2016-2017 4-H year. So that is important to keep in mind. When you get into your distribution of your participants, duplicates are existent or current 4-H participants, and that could be youth or adults. So that's where this breakdown comes into. What gets further reported into your group enrollment are your new contacts, but you will see in the system that it does capture everybody, and then it does a breakout of minus duplicates once you get into your race distribution, grade, and then your ethnicity information. It is important to note that the system does have required fields. So your club and group, you will need to work with your 4-H staff as far as making a connection to where you have a club or group to select within 4-H Online. And then you'll want to think about the project affiliation. There is a project tied to this, so we have very broad categories when it comes to projects at the state level, and added into that, your county only projects should populate into that list, but you do need to make a project connection. The second page of this packet has your adult and youth volunteers. These are new volunteers only. So if you have new folks that have engaged in this program, you'll want to capture that information as far as their race and ethnicity. Your classification of a volunteer. For descriptions on that and definitions, please visit to that help sheets page. There are the Q&A pieces in there that can go through those definitions. And then if there was any training in that. The sign-in sheet is very basic, but given that this is a Word document, this element can be updated. Your sign-in sheet captures your program title, your date, the name of the participant, cell phone, email, and whether or not they've paid for this workshop. This, like I said, this part can be updated to meet your needs, but this at least gives you a contact list to work off of if you deliver programming in the future and you want a way to reach out with those folks, or if there is youth, perhaps they could get contact at the beginning of 4-H year and encouraged to enroll within your local 4-H program. So then the next part, once you've done your programming, I make a recommendation to, once your program is done, within the next few days after your program, and when your time allows, is to go ahead and enter in that information versus holding off to September or October to do that. Those tend to be very busy months, not only with statewide meetings, but reporting as a whole and getting caught up and ready for the new year. To report within 4-H Online, you need a login. If you do not have a county login, please contact me, Erica Thiel, at ethiel@uidaho.edu, and I can get you set up with that. But this is what 4-H Online looks like. This is called the dashboard, and where you access or where you would enter in your group enrollment information is off of the group enrollment icon. You will see a little gray ribbon underneath the dashboard, and if you simply click on Add Group Enrollment, a pop-up window will appear. The process is a 3-step process. So you go through first to enter your program information, the second piece is your member information, and the last piece is your volunteer distribution. For this sample, I'm going to enter in information about an adventure day camp that we did today. So it's a venture camp. Day camp, we covered hiking, backpacking, survival. The program was held today, so we didn't have multiple days, so we'll enter that in. The 4-H year does default to the current 4-H year. The club and group, this is where I mentioned, if you need to create a group, you can click create group and you can call it what it is. If it's another delivery mode, school enrichment, you can do that right there. I'm going to call that a camp. We have several delivery modes. Special interest, short-term program, overnight camp, day camp, school enrichment, after school programs. This was a day camp, and I was the presenter. We did it at Snow Creek Pond. Zip code is 83805, and we had 6 hours of program delivery. It does ask you if there's any youth from military families that engaged in this program. It will also ask you if this is a food and nutrition program. Projects that we did on this were hiking and backpacking. And you have to click Add Project. And the next one is survival. Click Add Project. Once you've got this screen filled in, you can go ahead and click Continue. And this is where we get into our member distribution. As I mentioned when we're looking at the paper form, duplicates are current 4-H participants, but in this whole piece here, we capture not only our total, but we take into account our duplicates. So our total participants that were male is 15, 5 of which were duplicates, and you can tab through these fields, which is great. For female, we had a total of 20 participants, those of which that were duplicates were 10. So that gives you a subtotal. Your total for this event with duplicates removed is 20. These fields, all of these totals from this point forward have to match that 20 number. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have something that is off, you will get an error on that, and you will be reminded several times that you need to change that. The system will not let you go through and move further in that. Race distribution. Okay, so of our participants, we had, out of that 20, we had 3 participants that were Hispanic and 17 that were not Hispanic. And they all are rural. And our grade distribution for these members, we had 3 in 5th grade, 10 in 6th grade, 5 in 7th grade, and 2 in 8th grade. All of these numbers match, so when we click continue, it should allow us to move forward without any problems, which it has. And in this event, we did engage with some new adult and youth volunteers. So we had 1 new non-Hispanic adult volunteer, 1 new Hispanic youth volunteer, and 1 youth non-Hispanic volunteer. So the total moving forward for that, and these columns are going to have to match as well, is we had 1 adult, 2 youth. So now we get into the adult classification distribution. We had our 1 volunteer was female, and she was a direct volunteer. For our youth volunteers, they were indirect. We had 1 male and 1 female. Through their participation in this event, they were trained in leadership, so topics relating to organizing, managing, teaching, and so that was very relevant. There will be several times where you may or may not have volunteer information to add on this, and you may or may not have training to add in on this. So don't be afraid to still capture the content, the distribution, or the information that you're doing in your program because you don't necessarily have the volunteers. That doesn't disqualify your group enrollment. Once you have entered this, you can click Save. Once you click, you do want to make sure you check this little Submit Form button and then click Save. If you need to make edits on these, you can do that at any time, but once you have your program saved, it will show up in this list. All right. So, we've kind of talked about the how, but again, if you do not have a login to 4-H Online, please do not hesitate to contact me. But how this all works is you deliver your program, you're capturing, make sure you capture your information on your group enrollment form. Then once your program is done, log into 4-H Online, work off of your packet, work through those 3 steps, and click Submit. It's really important to know that you are not alone in this process and that you do have support. Again, the help sheets page is there for you. It is important to note that we have been having some issues with the WordPress site, some intermittent functionality, and so we really are motivated to move that site to Sitecore. But once that is done, if that site changes, I'll make sure you guys are all notified on how to get to that new site. But we do have a 4-H Online team. At the state level or broader level support is myself, Erica Thiel. Also have Shanna Coder at the State 4-H office and Cal's ITS, Adam McKinney. We also have a 4-H Online team with district contacts to provide that localized support. For the Northern District, your point person is going to be Charlotte Wilson in Kootenai County. For Southern District 2, that will be Michelle Tate in Washington County. For Southern District 3, we'll have Teresa Taverdi in Twin Falls County. And in the Eastern District is Lisa Barfus in Caribou County. If you do experience issues within 4-H Online, please submit a support ticket at support@idaho4honline.zendesk.com. Thank you very much. And again, if you have questions, there is no such thing as a bad question, so please don't hesitate to ask. And I hope that this has helped answer some questions with regard to reporting in 4-H Online and group enrollments. Thank you.